I'm Thomas LeRoy, founded the sect of the Horn God. Now, there's three people out out in the desert, roaming in the desert, middle of nowhere, right? And they come across a body, human being, dead, dried up. Basically, this is a chunk of beef jerky in the shape of a human being. I mean, there's not much left. Now, the first person goes, that person was murdered. And not only were they were murdered by Charles Manson. The second person goes, definitely a murder, but we don't know who did it. Third one goes, we don't know what it is. We don't, obviously it's a human being, but we don't know if it's a murder or if they died of natural causes or what, because we don't, at this point, have the evidence. Now, that person can look at that second person and go, you might be right. It could be a murder. The first person, I doubt it seriously if it was Charles Manson, but you might be right. But we don't know right now because we don't have all the evidence. Now, what point am I getting at with this little story? Well, that first person is obviously a theist. They know what happened. They believe it wholeheartedly. Well, they claim to know. Number two would be a deist. They have a feeling it was a murder, but they don't know for certain. But they have that feeling, so they're going to accept the feeling as truth. And what is the last person? Last person is an atheist. Now, what is atheism? I've had this argument with people over and over. Atheism is simply not actively believing. All right? Everybody on the planet is atheistic to most gods, 99% of the gods, except for the one that they accept, right? That's all it is. It's not actively believing. Now, I've made more than one video on Satan theism, and I'll admit my earlier ones were a bit more, how should I say, bombastic or caustic, and I did that on purpose. I was trying to get attention. We'll admit it. I wanted to draw attention to my YouTube channel. So I made them, how should I say, argumentative. I honestly don't care what people believe. I really don't. But if you want to become a sect member, you can't be a theist because it won't work. Alright? Can you be a deist? Maybe. Yeah, to a degree. But you can't be a theist. Because you can't say, I know. I know without a doubt. Well, if you do, present your evidence. Like I've said in other videos, present your evidence. Collect your Nobel Prize. Become world famous. Prove it. Prove it to everyone. Prove it to the world. It's not that hard to do. If it's true. But you know what? I don't care how much evidence you think you have. You will never, ever have the concrete proof. Because gods, monsters, demons, and angels are not real anthropomorphic beings. They're aspects of the subconscious. They live here, not out there. And why people keep searching out there, I don't get it. Why they feel a need to attach themselves to that something, whatever it is, to God or Satan or Jesus or whatever. I don't get it. You should turn inside and realize that they're in here, but they're all symbols. They're all living in your subconscious. Let me give you an example. Let's say the subconscious is an ocean, a vast ocean. What your conscious mind is you in a boat on that ocean. Now what happens if you go down deep and you, let's say, draw up some creature from way down at the bottom? What happens when you bring that creature up? That creature dies, right? The same thing happens. The same thing happens when you try to take the metaphor that are these mythological beings, literally kills the metaphor. It kills the metaphor when you become a fundamentalist. It dies. The meaning behind these entities, if you will, these metaphorical, let me emphasize that, metaphorical entities die. To give you an example, okay, let's take Christianity. Do you know that there are some Christians that are, quote, atheistic, that follow the Christian belief, if you will, belief system, if you will, but don't believe in a literal Yahweh or even a literal Jesus? They see Jesus and, of course, his crucifixion and his resurrection as symbolic of dying to your old self and becoming a new being, a new spiritual being. The left-hand path is a spiritual path. And if you are a Satanist and you say you are on the left-hand path, you are following a spiritual path. One where, in a sense, you die. The old self dies to become a new being. And what is that? What is that with us on the left-hand path? Isn't becoming one with a God? Isn't praising a God? Isn't worshiping a God or Satan or whatever? It's becoming as that God is. It's becoming self-deified. That's the eventual goal. As Carl Jung so wisely said, those who look outward dream. Those who look inside awaken.